It's a really pleasure to see each and every one of you. I do see some familiar faces, and I'm really grateful and honored to have like a lot of exceptional people amongst us, and also a few newcomers. Sure. I guess. Does it work well?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, first of all, welcome everybody who has joined us today. We have people that came from all over the place, including us, from Serbia and Slovenia, and also, not sure where the rest of you are coming from, but I'm sure that you have a very, very strong sense of purpose for being here. I would like to thank you, Professor Dr. Bob Metcalfe. He strictly instructed me to speak out his name with a silent L. So, Dr. Metcalfe. Dr. Metcalfe. Hope that works well.
I made a mistake. I started drinking before the event.
As we all did. As we all did. All right. So we have Doctor here. Not MD, but Professor. Dan Purtell of BSI. And it just happens that both Dan and Bob are advising our company, Tracelabs, the core developer of OriginTrail. I would also like to invite Tomáš Levak, the co-founder of Tracelabs, Vladimir, standing next to me, myself, and Yuri. Please rejoin us. Wonderful. All right. We listened to a couple of very exciting speeches today, starting with Bob's speech on network effects and how network effects drive value. And just going back to what OriginTrail really delivers, OriginTrail drives discoverability of assets, making them discoverable, verifiable, and valuable. And just going back to Web 1, and Web 1 allowed us to read information mostly, so the people that were not technologically savvy enough were mostly able to read information from internet. And then in Web 2, we are now able to read and also write, to share information, which also brings some negative externalities, mostly in terms of how value is being appropriated towards more centralized companies. And now in this Web 3 world, we believe that we can really deliver more equitable grounds for people to exchange value. So everybody, just anybody, can become an agent of creating value for himself. And if Web 1 allowed us to read, Web 2 allowed us to read and write, Web 3 actually allows us to read, write, and own things, own assets. And this is what also OriginTrail stands for. We want to deliver such a system that will allow for assets, so your assets, humanity's most important assets, to be discoverable, verifiable, and valuable. And I'm going to just move on to my right-hand side, Dr. Vladimir. Perhaps one first question that springs to my mind is, what excites you most about OriginTrail?
There's a lot of things that excite me, but I think what's the most exciting for me as a technical person is that it's a really widely applicable technology, and that's because it employs two different types of technology. It employs blockchains, which we're kind of used to if we're coming from a Web3 world, and then it employs this even potentially more powerful technology, knowledge graphs, that are really strong in Web 2 world. And you might not know about it, but you're interacting with them every day. So if you're watching Netflix, and like, if there are anybody here that never watched Netflix, you got those recommendations, right? On which show to watch, that comes from knowledge graph. You know, searching Google comes from knowledge graph, the results. Amazon, all of those products are actually indexed in the knowledge graph. So this is a very, very powerful technology which actually leverages network effects, and on the data level. It connects a lot of data assets. together. And in this Web 2 world, the value, as Giga mentioned, has been appropriated by, well, Web 2 companies. And they're the biggest companies in Web today. They all use knowledge graphs. Guess why? So therefore, what excites me the most is that we are able to merge these two worlds and deliver it to Web3 in such a way that it's completely Web3 native. So it's open source, it's decentralized, you own your stuff, and you're able to build on top of it, which is the core of what we're trying to do this, why we're trying to do this, and why this is really great for network effects. Just as you've seen in Web3, people building all kinds of things, this composability that we've seen grow in DeFi, for example, this is something that gets to the next level once you introduce technology that is actually built in network effects. So yeah, we just released the new SDK. Version 6 of OriginTrail is coming very soon, together with the OriginTrail parachain. This is going to be a super powerful stack, so whoever's, if there's a builder in here, you're going to have some really awesome tools to build things with, and if not, there's going to be others. There are already others, so it's going to be, yeah, I'm super excited because we've never been this powerful with the tech we have, and this is just the tech angle of it. So moving on to the right, what are you excited about, Tomasz?
Hi. Oh, sound loud. All right. Well, I almost feel like I could talk without a microphone. All right, let's do it. I think the thing that's kind of like the most exciting at this point in time is that the fact that we're really scratching the surface. And we're scratching the surface from the point of view of Trace Labs, from the point of view of OriginTrail, from the point of view of Web3 as a whole. If we look at the types of assets we have available right now to interact with in the Web3, it's still fairly limited. So you still have a fairly limited amount of use cases that you're able to work on or able to get involved with, where there's still a lot, like mega large amount of assets that today aren't really exposed to Web3. And this is where we see the exciting part really come in play is how do we enable all of that to become Web3 assets so we can, and when I say that, it's a piece of garment, it's a bottle of whiskey, it could be your car, it could be your house, or it could be a digital art, or it could be a pay token of a network that you're interacting with. It's a very inclusive category assets, and especially with something as powerful as OriginTrail's Decentralized Knowledge Graph, we can change ownership experiences for things like security audits and how people are interacting with those to something that's a highly sought for item that's going to be a precious thing, maybe with a fragmented ownership of multiple people, and that's going to create a totally different subset of experiences that become available for those that are involved within this, and that group is going to expand dramatically as well, it seems. So it's still a very small subset of the whole internet space that is involved in Web3, and with these types of technologies, we're really bringing or tapping into the potential of creatives, into the potential of brands, larger brands, into the potential of enterprises that can unleash so much more value for themselves, and they're actively seeking to do so. So it's not just about kind of doing a one-off use case, but it's more about how can we change our design thinking where we put assets in the center and create strong business models that may be different from what we know so far. So it's not just some sort of a service that you're subscribing to, or it's just a product that you use for free, but you are the product. It's changing the whole plate the other way around. So we're building communities, we're building people that care, we're building a strong foundation for a new generation of internet. And with stuff that's coming up right now, I think summer is going to be mega exciting. So that's like a very, very big jump for us. 500x was the latest. So far measured latest jump in scalability and just the throughput of what OriginTrail can deliver, which is pretty much insane for us because it opens up so much more things you can do. And at the end of the day, just what we can do as a community around the OriginTrail ecosystem. So yeah, a lot of things to look ahead towards, and a lot of things that will be very, very exciting. And the beautiful thing is it's applicable and implementable right now as much as it's visionary and changing the larger impact, global impact in the longer term. So that's, I guess, would be the summary of the exciting parts from my end. And you're next, man. We're sorry about that. And then we'll shift on over.
Yeah, so you guys do all the cool stuff and all that stuff. No, I'm just kidding. There's, if Tomasz and Vladimir focus more on the, say, the visionary and, where this technology can take us in the future, I think the important piece to realize is also that the value is already being generated today, and lives are being impacted in a positive way today by the implementation of this technology with our partners, such as the British Standards Institution, where for anything from we mentioned before, from ensuring that the goods imported into the U.S. are actually they have proper security checks and security audits in place that ensure that they can be imported, and that generates value, to really ensuring that patients at the end of the day get the medicine that was donated for them. And if we really look at the overall space, yes, we're only scratching the surface, but if we're only scratching the surface and we're already delivering this amount of value, you can only be excited about what else can we do, how far can we take this thing. And the whiskey example, and we're going to have, I think, the bottle here for a demo available later. You guys can take it and scan. But for example, understanding the provenance of whiskey or any type of other, say, luxury good that you buy, it's not, it's expected, but it's often not trivial. And with these types of technology, this is really just the base that you can then also build on, and taking the experience from understanding where the things came from to then including ownership and enabling the end products to be shifted to sold, expanded on by adding certain claims around it. There's a lot of exciting stuff that is already being done, and a lot of exciting stuff, more exciting stuff that is coming. And it's really kind of like a snowball effect at the end of the day. The more we do things, the easier new things become, and the more clear new things become. And seeing also in the ecosystem people getting inspired actually to build using OriginTrail, that's on their own, right? And I know Amos had some great ideas he put out there already. That's also very, very good and very encouraging to see, and that's what excites me most. And that's the very long answer to a short question.
All right, passing on.
So, it is loud. So
That's pretty loud.
how we're using it from a practical application at our firm, and I know we're onto something, because when we make it into one of Amos's rap songs, I think we're onto something. So maybe there's another song. I don't want to make one-hit wonder. How we're using it is we conduct hundreds of thousands of audits each year, write standards, deliver consultancy days, and what we're seeing, especially with COVID, and I would say even before COVID, is there's a growing deficit of trust with consumers, between businesses. We've seen a lot of fraud, we've seen a lot of counterfeit. So we're using blockchain technology as well as the Decentralized Knowledge Graph to go ahead and extend trust. So how can we authenticate a product? How can we tell the story of provenance? How can we look at chain of custody? How can we show that donated medicines that we talked about are actually getting it to people that without the medicine probably aren't going to live? So it's very important challenges that we're actually applying this for. We've actually got 6 commercial products now that we've worked jointly with the team here. Very successful, and we're looking at a broader rollout of it. But it does really provide immutable single source of truth and trust. And we plan on just using a lot more of it. And thank you guys for the great job. It's really been good. Bob?
Thank you.
So I have to admit a trick that I've played. I've convinced OriginTrail to let me be an advisor to Trace Labs, and I'm anxious to get started. But it's a trick because what I plan to do is learn from them much more than I'm going to teach them. And what I learned today is I learned the difference between a knowledge graph and a distributed knowledge graph. And I guess where we're all going is to distribute it. And that involves taking connectivity and applying it to the knowledge graph. Artificial intelligence was invented roughly in 1968, and I happened to be a student at that time. And so I've been watching AI for that long, and it comes and goes. But it's not going to go this time, and it's because of what's happening here. AI relies on data. And in the past, the reason AI has peaked and fallen is it ran out of data. But now we have the internet. So this time, AI is not going to rise and fall, but thanks to distributed knowledge graphs and other forms of data, is going to continue its rise, I think. And the other thing I need to admit is that I've convinced Amos to go on the road with him. We're going to tour. And we're going to do a crypto hop tour promoting OriginTrail. Is that right?
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah, okay.
On that bombshell, I don't know where to go.
So just wanted to ask Bob, I had 6 slices of pizza. You said you're 2 down.
It can be scanned, thankfully. This is one of the first liquids. We've done a Colorado project previously, so we've done some test production in Colorado. In 3 weeks' time, we start our own distillation process, and in 4 or 5 years, you'll be able to taste our whiskey. So
Amazing.
that's
Woo!
it.
Well, the story
You can
started
show how it
already.
works.
Very cool.
All right, so we kind of killed the mic, I guess you can hear us, right? It's okay, you can hear, we're closing it anyway, right?
Yeah.
So you can hear me,
away.
right? So I'm loud enough. So yeah.
Just open the bottle, man.
Actually, I opened the bar.
I am not killing anyone.
This is whiskey, right? I just made a mistake today. Today at the conference, I said it. I think I said it's water.
Spirit.
But it's spirit, right?
Yeah, it's not
white
whiskey.
spirit.
But it's not for drinking yet,
It's
right?
not for drinking
Not
yet.
for drinking. Okay. But I love how you went all the way to put the actual spirit in. That's awesome. Even though it doesn't really change anything. All right. So yeah, folks. Enjoy the drinks. Thanks for coming. Thanks everybody for participating in the conference today. We have another presentation tomorrow, which is a little more technical. If you want to see this in action, come over, grab a shirt. We have L's and XL's. I'll be here. I'll be sending you the NFTs, and you can scan this thing. It's beautiful. You can do it with your phone. You don't have to. I don't have to do everything. You can do something yourself. So,
All right.
And yeah, the bar is open. So
Cheers.
jump on in and-
Sorry? I have an XL. I'll forgive you. I know that. Somebody always has to do it.